soltanto che voi sarete distrutti. L'eterna cima esiste solo per me. Puoi cantare canzoni di tristezza nel mondo senza tempo.
Dazzlers and new players like, what's going on, everybody? Hello! For those of you who came in late, first of all, what are you even doing here? This is the beginning of the end. This is the beginning of the Act 5 finale we're going to be going into, so super mega spoiler territory. But anyways, for those of you who came in late, or need a refresher, we basically just did the loyalty missions last episode, which was a lot of ground to cover effectively. If I could try to summarize each one, it was with Fortiame, we tried to race him to the top of the tree. He ended up winning, and he kind of found a little bit more confidence in himself, I would imagine. Valssa learned to move on from her parents being pirates, and took the daggers of her mother, I think? I forgot if it was a mother or father. Howl learned that he wasn't actually seeing multiple futures, but actually multiple timelines. He was seeing not the past and present of... not multiple past and multiple presents, but he was actually seeing entire alternate timelines that had already happened. Sovy kind of took us on a trip where he showed us where he came from and gave us his origin story. With Ulric, we promised to make him unimmortal, because he had immortality due to the Triumvirate, and with Pro, he learned to move on from trying to find information about his parents and accept the rebellion as his new family. You know, blood is thicker than water, they say. And Damek learned to move on from his mother, putting her brooch down to rest. And that, I think, is pretty much it, yeah? So, now we get to set sail for Balteus and finish things once and for all. I've heard it's, Nico's told me it's quite a ride, so buckle up. Alright, here we go. So, we've got everybody's loyalty missions completed. We are ready to rock. We are ready to roll. Let's not waste any more time. And this is one last warning for you people who are sticking around here after I gave you a spoiler warning. We are hitting spoiler town here because Balteus is the point of no return. We got to make sure we completed all the content because there's no coming back. This is the finale. Obviously it's going to take more than one video to get through the finale, but yeah, this is it. If you are new to the series, don't worry, I'll have a link to the playlist in the description down below, and you'll probably catch a card popping up either here or in the beginning there. Anyways, let's go. Let's get this over with and face our destiny. I make my way to the docks, happy to see that almost everybody else has done the same. Our forces line the entire area, dozens of ships are ours to command. We stand a real chance. Making my way down to the docks, I notice all of our forces talking amongst themselves. This is a unity that our world needed. This is a unity that we're fighting for. Though not everybody saw eye to eye, they could all coexist with one another. There would be no more oppression for those who thought differently than our rulers. That's the course, if we want. I noticed Sovy helping our forces load supplies onto the boats. The gamble of letting him join our side seems to be paying off. I'm certain his help would be invaluable as we entered Balteus. As I continue down the docks, eyes start to fixate on me. Not just me, but the blade upon my back as well. They all knew who I was. At this moment, I feel the weight resting on my shoulders, but I stand strong. This is a burden that I was ready to carry. No, that I was born to carry. I smile at them as I walk by, and they do so in return. I walk, and eventually run into Damek. He's overseeing everybody's efforts, making sure it goes smoothly. There's a lot to transport. We'd all need weapons, food, and drink. Quite the army, isn't it? Sailors would be proud, I know he would. Forgive me for taking charge, though you deserve a break. Or at least a chance to save your energy. You'll need most of it on Balteus, not here. We'll take care of everything until then. I nod, thankful that Damek is taking the initiative. I definitely need to use the voyage. It's time to prepare. My skill with this blade is limited, but I know I can improve. I made sure to put us on the same boat as each other. Everyone, actually. Howl, Valssa, Fortiame, Ulric, Pro. It's probably best if we're all together for the end of the journey. That much was true. I need my friends by my side for this. We were about to change the entire world. We'd be slaying gods. We'd be flying higher than the goats. 'Cause I'm a force of nature, I'm phenomenal. Part of me wonders just who they are and why they do what they've done. There's no point in concerning myself with that information. Nothing about them could excuse what they've done. They need to fall. I thank Damek for everything that he's done, and this makes him happy. Of course, Basil, anything to help you out. But I think we're almost ready to set sail. Want to get on board? Might as well lead by example. A lot of people are just standing around. We turn to leave, but we are quickly interrupted. That's the last person I expect to see, but I'm not surprised. Leave her without me, Damek. Hey, look who it is. Figured he would turn up for the finale. I thought you wanted me to come along. Hey, Grizz, happy to see you. We weren't leaving, just getting on board. Hopefully everyone else will take the hint and follow suit. Fair enough there. Hey, Basil, Damek told me everything when you got back from Altharinthia. Seems like we were looking at things the wrong way all along. At least, I definitely was. I thought my death in those tunnels would redeem me. But now I know that my fate lies elsewhere, in Balteus. I'm glad that his outbreak... I'm glad that his outlook has changed. I couldn't let him kill himself back in our HQ. He was just lost and needed some direction. At first, I was furious that you denied me my redemption. But when Damek came to see me, I looked at it different. I was meant to survive those tunnels and help your final attack. He holds out his hand, awaiting my response. What do you say? To the triumvirate's fall? Mazeo can rest with Lilith for now. Yeah. To the triumvirate's fall. I shake his hand, and his grip is firm. The support our cause is getting overwhelms me. Thank you, Monarch. Let's put the past behind us. Honestly, I think all of us want to forget about those tunnels. I promise from here on out, I'll maintain a clear mind. I nod, and we start making our way towards the boat. Our vessel is the same one we used to get to Altharinthia. It's a bit bigger than the rest, and would work as a mobile HQ. When I get to the deck, I turn around and look at the dogs. Everyone is saying their final goodbyes since we might not make it back. I give them all the time they need and slowly watch as they board our fleet. Actually, I might not even make it back either. That thought fills me with fright. Taking one last look at Mazeo and Soil, I say goodbye under my breath. Now, me, you don't want to be a sleeping slave. Face your possibility of death head on and don't let it control you. Don't let that and the world and fate control you. Otherwise, you will never achieve your potential. You will never reach the truth. You will be stuck never reaching reality. What happened next would change the course of Alessian history forever. Turning around to face the deck, I noticed that Sovy is waving me over. I walked toward him, wondering what it could be about. It seemed important. As I make my way across the ship, I notice all my comrades are scurrying about. I'm glad that they put us all in the same boat, I must say. I've gotten used to you and your friends. Being placed anywhere else would be pretty uncomfortable. I just wanted to tell you that I gave Damek some information. When it comes to, he's forming a plan of attack as we speak, so it definitely helped. When it comes to Balteus and Triumvirate, I know more than anybody. I'm sorry for what we did to him during our attack, by the way. I ordered Shane to stab him, so technically it's my fault. He seems fine, though, so no hard feelings. Nah, see what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna punch you so you fall in the water, and then I'm gonna dance. I shrug, uncertain of how to respond. If it happened any differently, he'd be dead for sure. It feels a bit beyond coincidence, but I don't stop to question it. I might not tell your allies that I gave them this information, though. Not everybody trusts me, so it'd probably cause more harm than good. I'm not here to cause harm, so we all agreed it was best to omit a few facts. It makes sense, so I understand where they're coming from. Fighting amongst ourselves is the last thing we need before the final battle. It was a time to stand strong and united. A time to trust one another unconditionally. That's it, really. I just thought you deserved to know it came from me. I did promise information that will help your final attack, after all. If anything else comes to mind, I'll make sure to bring it to attention. He is definitely going to great lengths to make himself seem genuine. That's good. There's a lot of doubt in the air surrounding this alliance. The people may not know he tipped us off, but they didn't really have to. He turns away from me and stares into the distance. I guess the talk is over. I decide to make my way to Damek and Howl to see what information he gave them. But before I can get there, I'm interrupted by my comrades. They seem really excited. We exchange hugs and pleasantries for a few moments. Are they really happy? Or are they just putting on an act? It's hard to tell since this is the calm before the storm. Hey there, Razzle. Glad to see you made it here. I'm happy we're all in the same boat. How many people are going to say we're all in the same boat? Yeah, it makes me feel way better. If I was stuck with other people, I'd be worried. But in this situation, I'm not. I'm perfectly comfortable. I'm just doing my best to hang in there. This whole life at sea thing really isn't my style. I can't wait to get back and settle down for good. Knock on wood, Pro. Don't get arrogant before the final battle. This is a huge gamble. You need to give it your all. Me? Arrogant? Never. Anyway, I need to take my mind off this water stuff. How about we go sit in the crew quarters and play some cards? Sure, but I think Damek is about to make a speech. He's been lost in conversation with Howl for a while now. I overheard them talking about our plan of attack on Balteus. Alright, I can wait. Maybe you should get over there, Seer. Monarch. I'm pretty sure that's something you want to be a part of. That's true, and I was making my way over there anyways. Ulric and Pro go about their business, but Valssa and Fortiame stay. Good luck, Razzle. I hope we get to spend more time together, but I understand if we don't get to. This is probably the most important moment of your life, so do whatever you need. Yeah, as much as we need you, I think the world needs you more. Hopefully this isn't goodbye. But there's always a chance that it is. Since we're going to Balteus, we need to treat that as a real option. It's true, as grim as it made the conversation feel. Before I can respond, they both step forward and hug me at the same time. Aww. I let out a soft laugh and wrap my arms around them. Together, we've all come so far. Thanks for everything, Monarch. I think you have some planning to do, so I'll let you go. Yeah, just know that I'll never forget our time together. If we play your cards right, then we can have more of that after the war. I know things have been crazy, but with you two by my side, it's been easier. With the hug broken, we nod at one another with big smiles. I'm sure we'd see each other again, so I don't let it get me down. There's no way we'd get to the end of this without crossing paths again. I make my way over to Damek and Howl, scanning my surroundings as I do. Our pirate allies run about the ship, making last-minute preparations and adjustments. It's nice to know that we had their selling expertise. So many important people were on board. Because of that, something told me that our ship would be in the very front of the pack, but I wouldn't know for sure until I talked to Damek and Howl. They turned to face me. I can tell they're stressed out. It's apparent on their faces. I asked them, what's up? Hey, Razzle, we're just taking care of some planning. I think we have a pretty good idea of what we're going to do. Now that we've talked it out, I think our chances are great. Damek is correct. Our confidence has been increased tenfold. Thanks to the last-minute information, we now have the edge. Hopefully we can keep that when you put our plan into practice. They both glance over at Sovy. I know that he gave them information. I'm glad that they trusted him enough to base their plan around his intel. Back when we left Alavinthia, our alliance and trust seemed so shaky. I guess I should tell everybody what we're planning then. I'll go stand at the head of the ship and give myself a platform. They might want to hear from you too, Monarch, so be ready. I stand back and watch as he takes slow steps towards the head of the ship. I didn't even know what they were planning, so I'd be learning at the same time. However, due to the fact that they were working together, I knew we were in good hands, just like State Farm. Alex watches him pass by, and I can tell that he's tired of waiting around. It wouldn't be much longer before he sets sail, so I hope he can wait a bit longer. Once the pirates start preparing the ship to leave, their shouts would drown everything out. After a few more moments, he reaches the head of the ship and clears his throat. Gathering the attention of everybody nearby, he mounts a crate to get higher ground. A silence overtakes the entire ship, but he has no problem of rising to overcome it. Well, I guess this is the eve of our final attack. I know many of you are wondering just what's going to happen. I'll explain more later, but right now, I can tell you a bit of what we're planning. We should arrive from Balteus just as the sun is rising. When we do, we'll all be meeting at a central location for one final meeting. It's important that everybody is on the same page before we take any big steps. However, our first big step will be to secure the Grand Library. Holding our proprietor hostage, we'll station our army there as a pseudo-HQ. I bet you're wondering why we've chosen the library. Well, our reasoning is twofold. First of all, We've been told the honor guard cannot set foot inside. There's some sort of ward on the property, presumably so the owner can be alone. We're not sure why they prefer to work alone, but we know it's important to the triumvirate. That's a part of our second reason. Taking them hostage will extract information. Anything we can gather that will help us in our next step, the final attack. While information is extracted, we can use the safety of the library to rest and recuperate. After that rest, we will gather one more time and begin our final assault. Vassal Joestar will lead a small team and infiltrate the castle, attacking the triumvirate directly. The rest of us will lead the honor guard to the town square and fight them as a distraction. With the distraction as large as we're planning, the monarch should be unimpeded. He will kill the triumvirate and destroy the large idol at the back of their chambers. We believe this idol to be important to them, so he must destroy it in order to win. With the blade plunged into that idol, the monarch will tap into its power. He will use it to deactivate the honor guard, and the suits of armor will crumble. At that point, victory is ours. We will gather in the castle atrium and count the survivors. Everybody looks at me as Damek explains this part of the plan. It's my first time hearing it, but it all makes perfect sense. It's a good strategy. We don't know what the idol is, but I could definitely use its power, like I did in our HQ. With the triumvirate dead and their honor guard dissolved, victory would be ours. We still have to worry about Halen and Shane, but I'm sure they'd pop up somewhere. I feel confident. Giving everybody a nod, they turned their attention back to Damek's platform. As soon as we arrive, I'll share this plan with everybody else. So until then, I'd advise getting some rest. You're going to need it. That is, unless there's anything else you wanted to say to all of us, Monarch. All eyes are on me once again, and I take a few steps forward. Damek jumps off the crate, leaving me a platform to stand on. Should have been a soapbox. Ha 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 ha. A speech? I've never given one of those in my life. I don't know. My uncertainty must come across in my demeanor as they start urging me on. They even break away from each other, leaving a clear path for me to walk forward. I am technically the leader. It makes sense for me to talk. I'd have to get used to this. I continue to walk forward and notice smiles appear on their faces. The impact that my actions and attitude have on everybody here is very clear. It's a good thing that this level of responsibility was given to someone who can handle it. A few moments later, I'm on top of the crate, matching the deep gaze of all my subjects. Silence overtakes everything. I could hear the call of the water against the docks of Museo. It was clear that I'd have to break this silence. I clear my throat and think of what I should say. This speech is an accumulation of all your choices thus far. Ooh. Okay. Oh, it's not gonna put text out. Okay. I missed that first part. We stand here today as harbingers or something like that. And it's time for our enemy to realize that we'll stop at nothing to see them fall. They start to mutter amongst themselves, nodding in agreement with everything I say. The roads of this journey have been paved with compromise and change. But they have been our changes. We do not conform to their idea of purity and perfection. And that is exactly why we will win. A bunch of them start cheering, with wide grins on their faces. I'm speaking from the heart, speaking from the instinct, and it's working. I smile now too, and my words from this moment on are filled with confidence. We will leave behind a world of freedom. We will embrace everyone who has been wrongfully oppressed. Put simply, we will give hope to those who have found their own was stolen. Due to the triumvirate's rule, that number is far too high, but that ends now. No longer will victims find themselves blinded by revenge. No longer will servants find themselves lost to a quest for redemption. The crowd is roaring with applause, cheering on my every word. I know they want more, so I try and think of what I should say next. We have more power than any group of people who have ever spoken up against the triumvirate. Unbreakable like our will, we have vessels containing spirits of the monarchy. La Squadra, we will no longer fight for ourselves. We fight for a lost civilization. This is why we're unstoppable. I grab the blade from my back and slowly unsheath it. But most importantly, we have this. Holding the blade out, they explode with even more applause. I held a symbol that almost guaranteed our victory and our freedom. Nobody has ever had, or ever will, have a better chance of taking them down. Using this blade, I will create a world just like Salus had always envisioned. When this is all over, we will live in a united world. We'll stand together, strong. Everybody will have a voice, and together we will find harmony. We will find peace. I put the blade back in its scabbard, signaling that I'm almost done speaking. Eh? No, thank you, please. Raising my fist in the air, I give one last shout, one last call to unify our cause. For the monarchy! With a wide smile and met with a large round of applause, I jump off the crate, taking it as a sign that we're ready to depart. The pirates start preparing the set sail. I should probably meet with Damek and Howl one last time before deciding on what to do. As I approach them, I notice they look happier than I've ever seen. I never saw myself as a public speaker, so I'm quite surprised at what happened. Doubts of my efficacy were still there, but seeing my comrade smile helped that worry dissipate. And eloquently put, Razzle. Better than my own speeches, I have to admit. I can see just how much everybody looks up to you. It was quite impressive, we must say. You're going to make a fine leader, we're sure of it. The greatest asset of any ruler is the ability to inspire hope. And I'd say we have that in droves now. I trust that you're okay with our plan, Monarch. Sorry that we didn't have time to pass by you first. I nod. It all seems good. Okay, something interrupted me. Anyways, good. It seems that everything is now in order. Perhaps you should go and get some rest, Razzle. We'll wake you up if there are any matters of importance. Yeah, we need you rested when you reach Balteus. You know our plan, and the pirates are about to set sail. There's nothing left for you to do, at least for now. Guess he was right. Until we arrived, things were out of my hands. After thanking them for the opportunity, I make my way to the crew quarters. I value the opportunity to rest, but given the circumstances, that ain't gonna come easy. Halen and Shane gather at the docks of Balteus. Surrounded by honor guard, they order them to prepare a small fleet. They knew the end was coming, and they had to meet it head-on. What was your reasoning behind this again? I'm surprised the Triumvirate decided to play along with your plan. They have to come by sea, and this is the main port of entry. If we leave from here, we can intercept them before they arrive. The plan is to thin out their numbers as early as possible. What if this fails and they sink our fleet? Scared of dying, are you? No, that's not what I meant. It's a valid concern, Shane. Well, in my case, I don't really have anything left to lose. Let me lead the charge myself, Halen. You go back to the castle. You'll be needed there for a second line of defense if they make it that far. I trust that they won't. Me too. Just tell the Triumvirate I'll be there soon. I have no intention of dying, not to any of those weaklings. Shane instructs the honor guard to get on board the ship. It's a small fleet, with only a few ships. Helen watches and scoffs. You have a death wish, you know that. I get you hate them, but don't throw your life away. The Triumvirate rewards service. Keep that in mind, alright? Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I'll be back for you before you know it, so go and have a rest. Just wait, Halen. If they even arrive, you'll find their hope is lost. Halen smiles a sinister smirk. He knows exactly what Shane is implying. Very well. I can get behind that thought. Be careful, though. You're a good apprentice, Shane. I trust you and the honor guard will do some real damage. Yeah, that's the idea. See you back at the castle? Sure. Halen starts to walk away, but quickly turns around. You know, Sovy never let me do stuff like this. As his apprentice, he shut down almost every plan I ever had. I have to be better than him, though. I'm trusting you with a lot here. Don't worry. I promise not to let you down. The rebellion ends today. You have my word, Master. Halen nods and starts making his way back to the castle. Oh, the rebellion's gonna end all right. Shane remains, muttering to himself with trembling fists. And it all starts with that little figurehead of theirs. It's almost time, Seer. You'll be joining Damek soon enough. We'll bring it on, little man. I toss and turn, getting minimal amounts of sleep. The blade rests against my bed, ready to grab at a moment's notice. I fade in and out of sleep, fighting a mixture of both anxiety and tranquility. Just when I'm about to fall asleep, a negative thought jolts me back awake. We had no idea what would happen when we arrived in Balteus. It was terrifying. I realize that sleeping probably isn't going to happen right now, so I get out of the hard bed. Just as I do, I notice somebody approaching out of the corner of my eye. Grabbing a blade, I prepare myself for anything out of a twisted paranoia. Hey now, put that thing away. I didn't mean to startle you, Razzle. It's just Vivian. That's a relief. It appears that there's been some complications. Damek wanted me to tell you that you're needed on deck. You'll see what I mean when I get up there, alright? I nod. Must be important if he's interrupting my rest. As I start to walk away, Vivian puts a hand on my shoulder. I just wanted to tell you that I know what happened in Alarenthia. I know Pro and Ulric teamed up in order to thorough fight. I gulp, unsure of how Vivian would react to such news. But to my surprise, he lets out a hearty laugh. You know, I always said that Alarenthia needed to be ruled with smarts. JQ would just sit in his throne thinking strength solved everything. Using a scheme like they did to outsmart him? It's almost poetic, isn't it? Besides, it also sent a message to every Alarenthian. The old way of doing things was wrong. Individual strength doesn't matter. It's how strong we are when we team up, under shared ideas, that truly matters. And for sending on that message, I commend you. Good luck out there on deck. I think you'll need it. He releases his grip on my shoulder. For a moment, I was scared things would go south. I'm glad he's so accepting of what transpired. Dropping the issue from my mind, I head up to the deck. I had no idea why Damek needed me, but that thought was frightening. Slowly ascending the steps, my mind is plagued with unfortunate possibilities. As soon as I arrive on the deck, I see exactly why I was needed. Off in the distance, we're met by a fleet of ships belonging to the Triumvirate. Oh, here we go, boys. This is it, friends. This is it. Don't get scared now. They're far, but not far enough away that the sheen of the honor guard is concealed. Damek and Howl immediately run over. I can see panic on their faces. It was clear that battle would be imminent. I met them halfway to see what their plan is. We have no plan. Perhaps this is time for Damek to shine. A master strategist. Is that not what your people say? Howl, this is no time to be petty. We need to put our heads together and figure this out. Let's see. Small fleet. Maybe only half the size of ours. We're being serious. Naval warfare is not something the monarchy practiced. We lived in peace, Damek. Our world was not discordant like this one. We exchanged glances. Why do you know so much about fighting in honor and war, then? Like, he said a few things that suggested he's been in some scuffles. Anyways, we exchanged glances. Damek seems uncertain and a little worried. He strikes a pose of thought. And it's a while before he breaks the silence. Okay, we'll do it. We know this battle is lost if Razzle doesn't make it ashore. So our goal should be securing the safety of this boat and the lives of those on board. This is when we need to rely on everyone's strengths. We need the pirates to take action. He waves over Alex. Alex, we need you to order your forces to charge. This is precisely why I want to form a treaty, for battle at sea. I need you to occupy the forces. Distract them while we slip by. Slip by? They'll notice you right away. Baltean ships are equipped with projectile weaponry. One or two good shots, you'll be underwater in minutes. That's what I'm counting on. Eh? We're going to let them sink this ship. Are you crazy? I have a plan, Alex. Everybody listen up. We'll time it so we're close by when they hit us. As we sink, we can hop over to their ship and hijack it. Using their own projectile weapons, we'll start sinking them one by one. Their attention will be divided. They'll be getting attacked from multiple sides. We can use that to our advantage. They won't be able to retaliate through the chaos. Right, of course. Should I send the order right now? Yeah, we need to do this immediately. There's no room for error. This is the end. Yes, sir. Alex runs off and climbs the netting of the ship. I look over at the other ships, and pirates start doing the same. It's almost like they have an entire language to communicate over long distances. That was an impressive sight to see. However, seeing Damek think on his feet was equally impressive. With a sigh and smile, confidence overtakes the panic from moments before. Damek, we must say that was pretty impressive. Hopefully now you realize that visions only hold you back. Yeah, hear that, King Crimson? Eh? Look at what happened back in the Rebel HQ. You relied on a vision. You tried to fulfill some prophecy. In a way that is limiting. You planned your strategy around certainties. But there are no certainties in war. Assume that the enemy has a counter for your every action. In this case, we should also plan for a scenario where the enemy prevails. Damek shakes his head. They won't. Simply because we can't afford it. Any losses at this point would mean the end of our cause. Trust in the pirates, Hal. Trust in all of us. We can do this. Hal simply nods. Moments later, the pirates launch their assault. We all lose our balance as our ship takes a sharp turn, moving in a new direction. This was a risky plan, but like Damek requested, I chose to place my trust in him. If trust wouldn't carry us to victory, Then would it be our strength and resolve? I hold on to the side of the ship as our speed increases. Everybody braces themselves. They're just not sure what's going on, so Damek draws his sword and raises it into the air. Everybody listen up. The final hour is upon us. Our pirate army will begin charging against the enemy fleet. While they're distracted, we'll slip in and hijack one of their ships. That means we'll be sacrificing this vessel, so don't be alarmed if they deal us a fatal blow. As we're sinking, we'll jump over and board the enemy. The ships are equipped with projectile weaponry. Using their own ship, we'll turn the weapons against them. They won't know where to focus, and we'll use the chaos to our advantage. He starts to talk a bit louder as our ship picks up speed. We move away from the main fleet, preparing to approach from the flank. I notice the soldiers nod, accepting Damek's orders and plan without hesitation. If things go south, I need all of you to protect the monarch. Without him, we lose not only this battle, but the war as well. His life and the blade he carries should be our top priority. Do I make myself clear? Everyone cheers in approval, and raises their sword like Damek. Then we all stand and watch the bulk of our fleet as the battle begins. We slowly move away from the action, and I can tell that some are relieved. As soon as the pirates get close enough, the honor guard retaliates. They launch heavy projectiles from catapults and shoot harpoons from wooden structures. The pirates with their... There's like a cannon on this ship, though, anyways. The pirates with their selling expertise are mostly able to counter by altering the trajectory. However, not all of them can do so. I witnessed several ships get torn apart and start to sink. My heart sinks with them, knowing they're willing to sacrifice themselves for me. It seems that the battle is on in full force. They get closer and start to board each other. I can hear swords clashing as the honor guard tries to defend against the pirates' charge. Ships on both sides start to sink, and soon enough it's almost impossible to see what's happening. From this distance, it's too chaotic, but if enemy ships are sinking, we must have seized some weapons. That means the tables have started to turn, but it's up to us to play our part as well. I turn back and look at where we're headed. We're dangerously close to some enemy ships. Damek calls out to everybody, shifting their attention away from the distant battle. This is it. There's no turning back. Everybody brace yourselves to charge. I see the honor guard prepare their weapons. When I scan my surroundings, I can see our forces prepare as well. A line of archer forms, ready to attack the enemies at a moment's notice. Hold! He places a fist in the air. An intense silence follows. Both sides are armed. The question is... I thought it was going to be fire after that. Both sides are armed. The question is, who attacks first? I take a deep breath and pull out the Blade of Exodus. Hold! I look over at the ships we've left behind. The numbers are easily halved. But this goes for the enemy as well. This is clearly the turning point. What happened next would decide the fate of our entire cause. And it began with a barrage of projectile weaponry. The enemy attacked our ship with everything they had. I can feel the hull get torn apart and everything starts shaking. Fire! The archers return fire, knocking out the suits of armor, mending the weapons. I look back at the wheel of the ship, and Alex spins it, turning us towards the enemy vessels. I hope you're ready to jump. Damek nods, and then a moment later, everything erupts into chaos. Our forces jump to the enemy ship after a long running start. They land safely and start decimating the honor guard. See you on the other side, Monarch. With a smirk, he follows our soldiers, jumping across the enemy ship. What is he, freaking... This is the Matrix, man. He just turns this here and he's like, free your mind, Monarch. Just jumps to the other side. Landing with a roll, he immediately starts... there you go, gotta get those physics right. He immediately starts fighting, displaying impressive skill. I didn't get to see him fight in our HQ or in Element, yet it's quite the sight. He dodges the enemy attacks with ease and retaliates with expertise. Taking out multiple suits of armor with a single swing, he clearly holds his own. Whoa, I think this puts Damek like higher in the tier. And then granted, honor... We don't know how well honor guards can fight though, so... Like, I still think Damek would probably be like A tier. Maybe. I turn around and order the remaining soldiers to charge. I save myself for last. But before I jump, I notice Alex is still at the wheel. I shout his name and tell him to get across as soon as possible. The ship has already started to sink and water rises at my feet. You know, any good captain is supposed to go down with their ship. I thought that was the idea was supposed to be that the captain stays on the ship until everybody's on the, I don't know, pirate code. But as Alex is about to say, I guess there's no point in living my life by an outdated code of honor. Thanks to the treaty, there'll be a new life waiting for me after all this. He leaves the wheel behind and places a hand on my shoulder. And honestly, it's all thanks to you. Let's make this jump together, Monarch. We're a team until the end, no matter what. No matter what. We moved to the opposite side of the ship, putting distance between us and the enemy vessel. I noticed that most of the honor guard has fallen and our soldiers are manning the weaponry. Good sign. A feeling victory is ours. So Alex and I start to sprint towards the enemy. He makes it there first, jumping up on the railing of our ship and launching himself across the gap. I'm not too far behind, and I jump up on the railing moments after, however, I make it no further. An arrow pierces through my shoulder, and I fall back onto our ship in a pool of freezing water. I pull out the arrow with a grunt. Blood oozes from the wound, but it's nothing major. We could patch it up as soon as the enemy ships are taken care of. Eyes on my feet. Looking up, I immediately notice the source of the arrow. It wasn't the honor guard. It was Shane. With an evil smirk, he jumps across, boarding our ship. It's still sinking, but I have time. If I can take care of him fast enough, then I'd be able to carry out my plan as originally intended. Instead of coming for me, he runs towards the wheel, steering our ship away from the chaos. That wasn't good. My time was limited if we were both sinking and making the distance greater. He must know exactly what he's doing. Part of me wonders if we played into some sort of trap. I look at my allies, and they seem to be doing a good enough job as they enact our plan. My fist shakes as I grip the blade of Exodus. Shane scoffs as he watches. I shout at him in anger and despair. I call him a traitor, and I condemn him. He almost killed Damek. He caused irreparable damage to my family. A traitor? Not from where I am standing. Damek abandoned me, and it's all because of you. He's a selfish fool. All he cares about is that stupid sword. I keep walking towards him, and the ship shakes violently. Water keeps spilling onto the deck, and I'm standing in almost ankle deep. I had a plan. We had a plan, and he threw it all away. The moment you walked through the door, he let you replace me. He left me to rot in a Triumvirate's prison because you were more convenient. That's not true. I tried reasoning with him, but it's to no avail. You saw how many people died in your HQ during that little attack? If you couldn't wield that sword, you'd be buried down there with the rest of... I could barely wield the sword then, but whatever. Damek didn't care about you or your friends. He only cared about your power. Again, that's not true. He's clearly been converted by the Triumvirate. I was thinking long and hard on what I should do. You know, what's my place in all of this? Much to my surprise, he throws both his daggers on the ground. And I realized if I served the Triumvirate, I'd receive the same power. It seemed fitting, and Damek's rebelling with the same thing he was relying on. He smirks, and I can care about the man that Damek cared about who was already dead. I wish you could be here to see this. But you'll tell him that story, won't you? A moment later, he charges at me unarmed, but in an almost blink of an eye, the blade appears in his hands. Robbed from mine, I have no choice but to jump out of the way. I run to the opposite side of the ship, where he threw his pair of daggers. Picking them up, I assume a fighting stance, and wait for him to charge again. Not strong enough to take it back by willpower alone? Thought so. You're weak. See, I was blessed by the Triumvirate. All you got was worthless energy from the realm of spirits. Out of pity, too. Wow. You're a dick, Shane. He doesn't seem to know about that. I know what people are going to say. Well, he's been converted by the Triumvirate, but still, like, wow. He doesn't seem to know about the monarchy, or the true nature of the power within me. Big surprise. The Triumvirate lost Sovy when he found out. I should use this to my advantage. As he charges, I maintain the facade that I'm weak and unable to summon back the blade. I dodge to the side once more, but slice into Shane's arm with one of his own daggers. He winces and grunts. His arm starts to bleed, but it doesn't seem to affect his performance. He charges again, and I dodge to the other side. With a roll, I slice into his leg. He stumbles. He has speed and agility, while he relies on slow, brute strength. It's easy to tell he's never fought with such a weapon before. From what I've seen, he can really only use arrows and daggers. Is that all you got? I won't be able to keep up the same strategy forever. I need to change it up while I think of how to end this. He charges once more, but this time I meet him head-on. Holding out the daggers in a cross formation, I stop the blade from going any further. We struggle both at almost equal strength, trembling as we try to overpower the other. I tell Shane Damek is still alive. The spirits willed it because his cause was righteous. Impossible. He'd never comply if I told him to look for it himself, so there's no way I can prove it. However, he seems to let up a little bit, and I'm able to overpower him some more. I push him away and tell him it's all true. He's on the wrong side of this war. No, you're on the wrong side. The rebellion is small and insignificant. Hundreds standing in a world of millions. Even if you win, they won't respect your power. They're happy living under the Triumvirate's rule. Revenge won't solve anything. Just back down. We circle around each other, both holding out our weapons. I was hurt by the occupation, and I wanted to fight, but I realized I was being greedy and there was no point. It's not my happiness, my satisfaction that matters. It's the world's. Seems we reached a stalemate, with trying to talk each other down. But I wouldn't yield, and something told me he wouldn't either. His views have been twisted, and he thinks mine have as well. We charge at each other and meet in the middle once more. The water rises, and I can tell that time is minimal. We're sinking fast. Returning to the same deadlock as before, I need to do something. I need to summon the blade back when he least expects it. My time is limited, and it honestly seems like Shane is beyond saving. But the question is, what do I do when it's back in my grasp? Finish him! We're gonna incapacitate Shane. I can't kill him. I just can't. His mind's been twisted. But he can always untwist it back. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. He didn't deserve to die, that much was clear. There had to be a chance that he'd see reason in the future. If we went on to win this war, maybe he'd see things differently. You took everything from me. As his anger and rage empowers him, I start to tremble even more. It takes a lot to resist the strength of a man wielding the blade of Exodus. I do my best to buy time until I find the right opportunity. I contest Shane's word. You were born with everything I worked so hard to achieve. They were my family, my friends, and you took them all away. As he starts to get more desperate and angry, I decide to take action. I let him overpower me, and I step to the side, dodging his next swing. I hate you. Hate. Power. A path to the dark side. Yeah, Shane's totally on the dark side right now. Totally on the dark side, but immediately after, much to his surprise, I phase the blade back into my hands. When he's caught off guard, I raise the blade into the air and smash the base against his head. He screams and stumbles back. Knocked into a daze, I step forward and do the same thing again. I'm careful not to go too far, and I stop the moment I find enough time to make my escape. He slumps down on the ground, almost knocked unconscious. I can hear him cry and whimper. There's no way to know if he'd make it out of this alive, but at least he had a chance. Damek. Heroic brutality. This was enough of the distraction. I had to get moving. Looking back at Shane, it's crushing to see how far he seems to have fallen. When I saw Damek again, it might be wise not to even tell him what happened. I jump into water and immediately start swimming towards the ship my comrades are on. But soon after jumping in, the freezing water makes my limbs feel stiff and my chest heavy. Fighting it for as long as I can, I keep swimming. I know I can do this. There's no time to give up. But it's no use. I'm stopped by a scene transition. When my vision fades back in, I can tell that I'm being dragged. What happened? My body is covered in snow and I'm shivering. I must have passed out back in the water. I shake my head and whoever's carrying me seems to notice. They put me down and sigh. Oh, you're awake. Thank goodness. When I found you in the water, I was starting to worry. What happened back there anyway? You're so far behind us. I shake my head, telling him that I can't remember much. A necessary lie. If he knew what Shane tried to do and how lost he was, it would damage his morale. He needed to see my survival as a triumph. We couldn't afford any damaged morale. Oh, I see. Can you stand on your own? We're resting in a shack that's not too far away. It's nothing fancy, but it'll give us the privacy we need. Nodding, I get up on my feet. I stumble a bit, but Damek can tell I'm still fine. Just follow me, alright? I'll give you an update once we arrive. A lot of stuff happened while you were out. Normally, a statement like that under these circumstances would fill me with fear, but Damek says it with such calm demeanor that I'm led to believe everything is fine. Holding that optimism in my head, I smile as we make our way towards the shack he mentioned. And as soon as we arrive, I make my way to the shack and lean against it. We had barely even arrived in Balteus and everything was already chaotic. I don't know what I was expecting, so it's not exactly a surprise either. All my comrades are scattered about, talking amongst themselves. I'm glad they survived. I try to account for them one by one as I look around. After a few moments, something strikes me. I can't see either Fortiame or Valssa. Uh-oh. Hal approaches me, and he lets out a sigh of relief. I can imagine that my momentary disappearance stressed everybody out. Good to see you, Monarch. We were worried. It seems that almost everybody is accounted for. I ask him where Valssa and Fortiame are. His demeanor quickly changes to that of sadness. They are some of the few we have yet to find, but we are certain that they live. We haven't found their bodies. Many of them washed ashore, casualties of the battle at sea. We are relieved to know that you are not one of those casualties. The plan is to wait in and around the shack until everybody shows up. It's be a good time for you to get more rest. Please relax. Relax while my best friends are missing? Yeah, fat chance, buddy. That was a tall order. I tell Hal that I might not be able to. Please do not resort to worst-case scenario thinking. This is a time to be hopeful. We stand on the precipice of victory. That's what you think. We'll go and look for them personally. You deserve rest. I nod and thank him as I turn away. Scanning the area once more, I see what I can find. I feel the comrades I can find slowly gather around me. Hey, good to see that you're still among the living. That was pretty intense, wasn't it? Sure scared me, at least. I'm not one for selling or fighting, so combining both? Yikes. Yeah, bro was scared. Thankfully, I have strength for two. He cowered in the corner while I did all the hard work. Did not. Sure. They share a quick laugh. But soon after that, I can tell that something is wrong. Is there something that I'm not being told about all of this? It's about Alex Razzle. He's resting in the shack in critical condition. I think we can nurse him back to health, but I'm not sure. Oh, no. Look, it's probably best not to think about it too much. He's in good hands. We just need to forge on as a team. If it weren't for him, we'd all be dead at sea. This is a victory. I guess that's true. It was just important that we give you a status report. I think once everybody gets here, we'll hold another meeting. Our strategy may need some adapting after these losses. Yeah, go take a breather. You deserve it. Right now, our options are pretty limited. It's not ideal, but he's right. All we can do right now is wait. Thanks for the chat, Razzle. I guess there wasn't much left for me to do. I'm making my way to the shack, hopefully to relax. But I was chasing an impossibility. I'd find no rest here. Not until everything was over. I know it would mean we either win or die. As I enter the shack, I pray that it's the former. As soon as I'm inside, I let out a huge sigh. The emotions behind it are almost indiscernible. There's so much going on that my mind was overwhelmed. I guess I should take care of the important stuff first. The pirate forces suffered heavy casualties and Alex was almost lost. I can see him resting on a small bed that sits in the corner of the shack. He notices me and waves me over. It's a soft motion, and I can tell he's in pain. Hey! How are you holding up? I tell him I'm doing alright. At least that makes one of us. I almost died, but one of my men shielded me. That's the way to power, I guess. Watching them die. He winces in pain, and I see a wound on his abdomen. It never gets any easier, though. But can you promise me one thing? I nod, and he waves me even closer as his voice weakens. He holds out his hand, and I shake it with a firm grip. Give him hell for me, Razzle. If I die, I want to die knowing that we won. Show him no quarter. They don't deserve it. I nod, and then release the grip on his hand. He dozes off into slumber, and I decide to leave him be. Rest would be important right now. He shouldn't force anything. After standing up, I looked down at him. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't even be here right now. I smile and silently thank him for all that he's done. The door of the shack swings open, startling me. I turn around to see Hagrid. No, I'm just kidding. Chris is looking around, oblivious to my presence. After a few moments, he notices me and lets out a nervous laugh. I never thought I'd see this place again. This is where I used to live before I joined the Triumvirate. A simple shepherd, that's all I was. They said they saw greatness in me. But now, I know that all they saw was a naive man, ready to serve. They prey on the weak, on those whose mind can be warped. I'm a different man now, but perhaps my change came too late. He steps forward and places his hands on the table. I don't know if this is important or not. Well, Balteus has changed. It used to be a beautiful place, but now it's like it's dying. I can't put my finger on it, but something bad is happening here. So be careful, alright? We can't lose you. But if it's within your power, I'd like to see Balteus restored. Placing your throne here and settling down would be a good idea. I agree. Even though I'm not entirely sure what he's talking about. Balteus has changed? It's dying? I'm not sure how that works. He's not one to lie, so I just let him continue talking. They made me kill my flock of sheep before joining them. They said it symbolized the death of my old life and the start of my new one. I felt awful, but I still chose to comply. I wasn't the smartest man when I was younger. That's why I wear the skin of my favorite sheep. I caught him last year. I wore him as a tribute, but he slowly turned into a symbol of my resentment. Seeing him every day, that constant reminder was part of why I defected. I couldn't live with what I did, and so I sought redemption. Of course, you know the rest, so I won't bore you. Thank you for listening to an old man's ramblings. I give him my sympathy. That was an awful thing to experience. They use their status as gods to manipulate young and impressionable people. I can imagine that abandoning your moral code is easier if it's to impress gods like them. I'm glad he survived those tunnels and chose to assist us, though. I make sure to tell him that, and he gives me a wide smile in exchange. That means a lot, it really does. I want to see the Triumvirate fall, even if it means losing my life. Giving everybody out there a happy future? Now that would make me rest easy. Of course, my survival would be preferable. I promise not to do anything too reckless, you have my word. That's all I can really give you for now. I hope it's enough. He starts walking around the shack, inspecting things. There must be a lot of memories here if this is where he used to live. It's probably best to leave him to himself given the current circumstances. There's not much left to do but rest, I suppose. I'll move to the corner and press my back against the wall once more. Hopefully they're all able to find Valssa and Fortiame. Can't lose them now. I'll rest in here for a while and gather my belongings. This ain't a time for freaking out. You can continue the story when you're ready by clicking the arrow in the top right corner. I don't think that's going to happen today, Chief, because I think we hit a pretty good resting point, so what do you guys think? Whew, that was pretty nuts, pretty crazy. Battle by sea, barely escaping, knocking the living daylights out of Shane. All in a day's work, am I right? So, we will definitely keep going. As of this video, the finale, is not yet done for the game. Klace said that he finished writing it as of this recording. So, we'll see. But you can bet, when it comes out, I'll do a video on it, obviously. Yeah, that's gonna be an exciting one. So, remember, of course, if you liked the video, to rate, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Make sure you ring the bell, become a ringing dazzler, so you can keep track of all my nonsense that goes on. And there's, ways you can push money to the channel if you so choose to do so, please. Maybe. Would make me happy. But if not, just watching the video makes me happy too. So, that's all I got for you guys. I will see you later. This is getting crazy. This is getting nuts. But fasten your seatbelts, because it's going to get even more nuts. And I will see you.